Hollie Hughes, first day after these ridiculous targets, and already Susan Lee cannot present a coherent argument for the simple reason that it's an illogical position that the coalition are trying to push.
Look, the coalition has to take a position somewhere on something around this, but I think there's a couple of areas where they could actually take a new form of language out there. Stop calling them renewables. It's reliable or unreliable energy. And at the end of the day, solar and wind are unreliable. But I just want to give you a little analogy, if I could. So what is electricity? It's a commodity. It's no different in many, many ways from oil, coal, corn, pork bellies, whatever it is, it's a commodity. But the difference with it is that it can't be stored. So the electricity lighting up this studio is being generated as we speak. And so imagine you go to Aldi. So you don't go to Aldi for the middle aisle, but you walk down there and you see all these random things for sale that you don't really need. But if you think about our energy mix and electricity mix, you go in there and there's some wind and there's some solar and there's a little bit of coal and then you've got the gas. No one plans their budget the next day of going to Aldi the next week or to see what's in the middle aisle, because the next time you go to the middle aisle of Aldi, the wind might not be blowing. And the sun might not be shining. But we've got a government who is literally pulling the future of the country on the middle aisle of Aldi being able to provide what they think it'll be able to provide. And it's just simply not going to happen. But the coalition's got to change its narrative here. Net zero, to me, is almost becoming a catch-cry red herring. It's not about that. It shouldn't be about that anymore because it's not going to happen.
Do you agree, Rowan?
Look, basically, the argument is most of our power comes from coal-fired power stations. And I think Tony Abbott was quite correct when he said we should have a policy that says we will not close any more coal-fired power stations until such time as there is a replacement base load. Also, we should say we will no longer rewire the nation because that is a huge expense. It's off budget. It's trillions of dollars. We cannot afford it. The money still has to be borrowed and interest paid on it. So what we have to do is say we will maintain the existing grid, which means that we will use baseload power. It may turn out to be nuclear power, may turn out to be something else. But one thing's for sure, it won't be intermittent power or as
unreliable.
Non-reliable.
Well, I've got an analogy for you, Hollie. When Ronald Reagan went to Berlin, he said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. If the Liberals or Susan Lee went to the Berlin Wall now, under their current strategy, they would say, oh, Mr. Gorbachev, can you take a couple of bricks off the top and maybe put some louvers in over there, but keep the wall, don't abandon net zero, but make a few changes here. The public are not going to buy it. We want a conservative government that says we're abandoning net zero and we're pulling out of it. Susan Lee this morning almost said that, then had to retract it, and I hate to tell you, but so long as the coalition try and walk both sides of the fence, they're going to lose. You have to come out and say no to net zero. We are in opposition to the Labor government, and we're going to pull out of Paris and pull out of net zero and focus on getting cheap electricity. Your analogy is good about Aldi. So you don't need net zero. Just get the cheapest electricity, which, as Rowan says, is coal.
It is coal. And if we were actually serious in this country about ensuring that, and we're going to keep this stupid moratorium ban on nuclear, the first thing that should be being done is coal-fired power stations should be being replaced with coal-fired power stations. Because the reality is our emissions aren't going down because coal can't be ramped up and down at all. So it's burning all the time. What's happening is our grid is being destroyed because all this solar and wind's coming in during the day, destroying that market for the coal-fired power stations, and then they have to be there at night when the sun stops shining.
So when is the coalition going to decide to abandon net zero, Bronwyn?
Well, let's pull out of Paris Agreement.
Yes. When are the coalition going to come to their senses? Because time is running out. When are they going to do it?
Yes, it is. I don't know. I despair. When Susan Lee today said that we won't set targets in government, I thought, hooray.
Hooray. And then 10 minutes later, she's walking back from it because the Liberal Party got in her ear. Am I right?
Let's make this point.
Absolutely.
Let's make this point. The Minister for Bowen came out and said, oh, well, we're not going to legislate these targets, so they're meaningless. They don't mean a damn thing. It's not the law so nobody has to follow them. And when you looked at the ridiculous fire and brimstone stuff they brought out, I thought they were rewriting the book of Revelations, you know? The horses of the apocalypse shall rise up, and the grave shall open, and people come out, and the angels shall open the seventh seal and sound the trumpets, and fire and brimstone shall come down. Seriously, it's a plagiarism, I think.
I'll be doing a bit on that later on, Bronwyn, so there you go. Now, Hollie, so... You know, Andrew Hastie has been this week talking about if the coalition, if the Liberal Party rather, don't come out and say no to net zero, as far as he's concerned, he's off, he's gone. We've had the Jacinta nonsense the other day, which I thought was a beat-up. I thought the Liberals should have backed Jacinta Price in and said, well, actually, OK, she didn't mean to offend the Indian community, but the point she raises that the Labor Party are using immigration intake for their own benefit was an absolutely golden opportunity to slam the Labor Party. And as yet again, the Liberal Party missed the opportunity to miss an opportunity, which they never do. So they missed that opportunity. Now, when are the Liberal Party going to get that act together and take on the worst government in Australian history? It can't be that hard.
They need to stop talking about themselves for a start. Andrew's made it very clear he wants to be leader at some point, but does he want to be leader now, or does he want to be leader whenever it might be in the future? But I honestly don't understand what his game plan is with this at the moment. It seems either an early false start, and you know what, net zero, for most mums and dads out there, we talk about it. It isn't the top of mind when they sit around the dinner table.
What is their electricity bills, because the Liberal Party are not making the connection and saying that these higher targets, 62%, 70%, means higher electricity bills.
I agree with you. They have to talk about the cost.
The point is this. When you're in opposition, and I've lived through years of that, when you're in opposition, a title doesn't matter. Nope. If you've got something to say, people will invite you to come and say it. If you have a title and nothing to say, nobody will invite you to say. People will invite Jacinta to come and because she's got something to say. They'll invite Andrew Hastie to come and say it because he's got something to say. It is the voice of reason that finally resounds.
People are hungry to hear arguments why Labor has to go. And Labor are sitting and laughing.
Talk about cost of living. These power bills are about to go through the roof.
Should we scrap net zero?
I've never been a big fan of it. I never thought we should have signed up to it all.
Hollie Hughes, Rowan Bishop, thank you so much. Let's all scrap net zero.